And very important factor, which is a key differentiator between the UAE and India is, in India, to do a particular assignment or to do a particular task, you have 10 people in the row to complete. Maybe a return review can done by 4 people. Maybe an audit is having a level which is article assistant, then supervisor, and then assistant manager, and manager, and then so on and so forth. Right. And similarly, in the industry, to do a task, let's say, for example, tax is a hot topic. So you do transfer pricing, but transfer pricing, you are very specific to industry. And within the transfer pricing, you are doing only sort of like, I'm specialized in economic profiling, or I'm, functional profiling, or I'm expert into this. Here in the UAE, these tasks is to be done by one person. So when you come here, and I'm talking out of my experience here, friends, as well, that many times a lot of people write it to me that, I want to get into transfer pricing, I want to get into assurance, I want to get into internal audit and risk, I want to get into technology, or I wanted to get into VAT. But 90% of the time when people write and they expect us to revert, and I do revert back to many people. I'm sure some of you might have received my response as well, if you would have ever approached me. You are not prepared. You write it to people before understanding how the UAE works. Let's say somebody is looking a career into the tax. He will not take effort to read the law which is available on public domain. He will wait for opportunity to say that I'm expert in India taxation and I wanted to come and make a career in UAE. But how an employer will understand your sincerity and your commitment if you did not take even effort to read the law before writing to somebody? And 90%, I say 90%, 10% people, they go read the law and they say, look, I'm well versed with the UAE law, because the law in the last 5 years, the VAT law has been amended many times. A lot of clarification have been issued, a lot of guidance have been issued, a lot of other details are there. People did not take that opportunity to read, and they believe that, look, they can make a career. Sometimes people come with that, they spend the money, they invest into it, they take the visa, spend on tickets, spend on the stay, and they come here like 2 months. Oh, I'm here for 2 months and 3 months, I didn't get the job. But you're not gonna get the job if you'll not put a sincere effort in that relation. Maybe it looks hard and harsh, but that's what the reality is, friends. Okay, let's talk about sectors. So oil and gas, wholesale and retail trade, real estate, business services, construction, manufacturing, technology, healthcare, education. These are the critical sectors. Banking obviously is growing sector, but banking is very standard and very, close-knit community where exactly there is not too many banks are opening up. There's a lot of consolidation is happening. So when the consolidation happens, it means you have limitation of new avenues within that industry coming in. On the other hand, insurance is an opening sector. There's a lot much opportunity which is coming up because there's a lot of insurance company, reinsurers, the brokers, they're coming into the market. So essentially you have ample opportunities out there. Fintech, edutech, and any today, the futuristic tech model, which is like going to be the consumer level, there's a lot of opportunities in this. But what kind of opportunities that you can envisage into this? I must say that, a lot of time I hear the buzz about FP&A. So people who are specialists into analytics, people who are specialists in terms of research, people who are specialists in terms of developing the model and arranging and doing the modeling business modeling about it. They have ample opportunities. In insurance, a lot of compliance work is there. So if you're concerned about, if you're experienced into compliance related work, yes, there's ample opportunities. As the tax came into picture, the corporate tax governance becomes a critical aspect. As the economic substance regulation, has implemented, it brought a lot of secretarial work, which was not there before. So 2020 onward, a lot of secretarial work has started coming in picture, and people need that. And as the secretarial work gets started and the governance gets started, need for the forensic is also arising, though at a very nascent stage, but it's a sector which can grow in due course about it. So these are some of the sectors which you can really focus upon. Top 10 accounting firms in the Middle East. So network, you can say the PwC, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, Anderson, BDO, Baker Tilly, Crowe, RSM, Grant Thornton, PKF. Amongst the key networks, which is there. Associations are there, GCI, Praxity, Morrison, KSI, Prime Global, BKR, and so on. And then notes like, IASB Server 2018 issued in February 2019, and network and association have been separately. So these are some of the networks, professional firms, which you can really eye at if you're looking at the career. But I encourage everybody today. I really wanted to say them, look, if you as a professional has agility, if you have agility, there's an ample opportunities, friend, in the UAE, in the UAE, but at the same time, more opportunities lying in India. And I tell you why. And I'll talk about UAE. It's not that when I'm talking about India, it's not that I'm not going to talk about UAE. I'm going to promote and I'm going to talk more about UAE. But friends, I want to tell you some interesting story. So I was there in VOCA. So World Congress of Accounting, when it happened in India, I've been there. And I met a lot of people. A lot of people, they'll send me message, look, when you're coming from UAE, why don't you visit me? So, okay, all right, I'm going to visit them. So nearly 60 to 70 people, professionals I met during my time there. But out of 70 people, some were in industry, but majority were in practice. So when I met somebody out there, I said, what do you do? I'm a practicing chartered accountant. Now for a person who's coming from outside, how he will understand what is a practicing chartered accountant means. You can do audit, you can do internal audit, you can do risk advisory, you can do tax, you can do structuring work, you can do international tax and whatnot. But you can't do every single thing together, friends. Today, you need to choose your specialization. And if you are specialized in a specific sector, people are going to pay you premium, an extraordinary level of money. But idea is create your niche. Then I met some of the startups as well. They said, I'm doing a tech work, which is like, invoicing. I'm supporting, I took that part when India has GST has implemented. So I took that expertise and I'm now going into different countries and exploring that, look, how can I build my business globally out there? That's a nice idea. But specialization is, even in the UAE, when you come out there, they will be asking you what you are specialized. Generic, it doesn't work because you are good at everything, but good at nothing. And another aspect that which people don't like here, international market, is know-it-all syndrome. When it's a know-it-all syndrome, it means I know every single thing, but I don't know anything 100%. So that's a very critical problem, which you need to understand here in the UAE. So what are the emerging opportunities, employment and practice are there, friends? The professional can provide services in 4 main baskets, if I say that. Number 1 is creator of the value. So today, as the landscape of the UAE is changing, you can have the strategic advisory services, policy making, because groups here are diversified groups. So if I can share you about a little bit difference than India in the UAE. So here are predominantly sizable businesses are family-owned business, but they have diversified themselves into all these sectors which I discussed before. Maybe education, maybe healthcare, maybe trade, retail, real estate. So they have a diversified portfolio of organization within their umbrella. Then we have MNCs as well, and then we have MSMEs, which is medium and scale size enterprises, which is like sole proprietors and LLC companies are there. I'll touch base about what is the LLC and difference as well. But all of these businesses, when you talk about sizable, they need today strong governance. They need a strong corporate governance, which they don't have in the place. So if I say about the family charter, do you have? May not be existing, maybe existing in their mind and an understanding. But if I say documentation wise, does it exist? No, it doesn't exist. If I talk about now transfer pricing coming into picture, do they have transfer pricing policy? Do they have local file, master file, all sort of documentation? Do they maintain their board records? Do they have minutes of meeting? Do they have resolutions? Do they have follow-up agendas and things like that? So it's not. And many organizations now adopting to ERM, enterprise risk management. So ample opportunities are there in that field. Then you become enabler of the value, which is supporting management and decision making, analyzing and evaluating the performance, which I shared with you, like, analytics, research, related work that you can do that. And preserver of the value. So again, the preserver of the value is like somebody who is having a risk management. So, risk management role is significant. It's growing in the bank, insurance, real estate, because of a lot of, regulations of anti-money laundering. So essentially risk becomes a critical element. And then reporter of the value, which is like relevant, useful, internal and external reporting, which could be like, you can get into the firms to ensure that, you are providing services within the assurance framework. So evaluate where you wish to be in next 5 years, capability plus interest. So here are certain things are there: industry, banking, entrepreneurship, education and training, government jobs, social, collaborate with women, and professional practice. So if somebody asks me what is the way forward that I anticipate in next 5 years, I travel around a lot of countries. And when you go out there, different countries, you realize that there are great people and great professionals out there who do not work in a specific organization. But what they do, that they are very project centric. So I'm sure many of you know that about WeWork, about Freelancers Network, and many more about them. And what these organization does, basically, they are a pool of talent which has specialized skill and specialized experiences, which organizations and professionals need based on their specific project that they're undertaking. And these professionals continue to provide services to them. In UAE, as the landscape is changing, there's this kind of requirements are emerging significantly today. Like other day, I had one specific assignment in LATAM to be done. And I reach out to our global network firm out there in LATAM, which is Latin America. And there was a requirement of a specific review of, engineering work. So when I review engineering work, the detailed DD is required to be done, and I need to take a service of a professional person out there to get this work done. So it is growing a lot, much growing. So you need to figure it out before even thinking about UAE, what you really wanted to do in the United Arab Emirates. You wanted to go into industry, you want to do practice, you want to start your entrepreneurship, and you're looking at government job. Government jobs are also open for expatriate. It's not restricted to only locals. The expatriates are there in every government department and in different roles that they undertake. So if I talk about UAE opportunities, you have key areas, which is audit and assurance, risk advisory services, governance, technology, and transaction advisory services. Tax is a critical factor. So since the tax is a growing field, let me touch base on the tax part, friends. The key opportunities lies at this point in time into the corporate tax, because it's a newly introduced law. It will gonna come in effect from 1st June 2023. For those organizations whose financial year is beginning on or after 1st June 2023. But predominantly, the majority of organization in the UAE follows calendar year, which is Jan to December. So their compliance or their applicability will begin from 1st Jan 2024, and their return will gonna come in 2025, 9 months after the completion of financial year. Okay, so the return period will gonna begin in maybe for September 2025. So this area has enormous opportunities. And what all those opportunities are? Number one, somebody who's specialized into corporate tax, who understand how the tax laws work. And they have not only India, but they have some sort of global experience. Because the law here is very different than Indian law. Number two, somebody who has international tax experience, which means you have been involved into analysis and understanding of various treaty benefits, doing tax structuring work, which means like, creating structures outside India, or analyzing the structure within India of MNCs, And how do you take that benefit out there of Indian laws as well as the resident law and understanding the poem and whatnot concepts. Ample opportunities are there. The third area within that is, and which is going to be significant, is transfer pricing. So transfer pricing is very new subject here. Many people don't understand what this term is all about. So if you are specialized into transfer pricing, definitely there's going to be a lot much work. And the fourth area within the transfer pricing is benchmarking. If you are working into industry which provides a lot of information and info-driven things, and you have a future oil, which is information, definitely your business can surge within the UAE should you be able to provide substantive as well as accurate comparatives within this particular part. And then link with the taxation, a lot of work in governance is going to come. Because governance is a key pillar of any efficient tax regime. So the Federal Tax Authority will going to ensure and mandate that every single business should ideally have a right governance model defined. And right governance model, when I term about that, is essentially that you should be having your broad policies defined, your corporate structure being defined, the kind of action that board takes and the management decision that board takes should be documented and should be analyzed properly. Sorry for that. And then obviously, along with tax, the technology also coming in picture. So as we see around the world, that most of people, when the tax becomes slightly older and mature, the technology comes into picture to ease out industrial work and industrial compliances in a seamless manner. So then technology can also be their enabler, which could be like as low hanging fruits are there, e-invoicing, which is implemented now in Saudi Arabia, and soon it will gonna come in other countries. The tax engines are there, the tax reporting, the XBRL reporting, and whatnot. So technology has greater emphasis and work that one can take. And as the tax grows, you'll be requiring the RPAs, robotic process automation, to differentiate and compile and consolidate various sort of reporting. And I'll touch base a little bit on corporate tax as well. So opportunities are there, in fact, more. Last area is, which is very critical around the world nowadays, is TAS, Transaction Advisory Services. So as you know that, keep on reading in the news today, the world's biggest investors are sitting out of UAE. Every year there's an increase in billionaires in the UAE. And I think I remember the last count of billionaires that I read about was 31 billionaires are there, which is driving, and they're the multi-billionaire people. So they continue to drive a lot of investments, and obviously the government funds are there. They continue to expand in horizon. And I'm doing one of the big organization here, which has over 350 entities globally, and nearly 50-60 entities locally. So I'm talking about portfolio size of maybe 400 entities within the one group. And average entities within a group are like 50 to 60 in a moderate size group. So transaction advisories are gaining a lot much momentum because there's a lot of transaction happening where you require buy-sided diligence and sell-sided diligence, due diligence, tax DDs, brand valuation and whatnot. So ample opportunities in this area, but again, one has to be very focused. If I'm talking about here, the average things doesn't work. If you really wanted to, because everybody's objective to come to UAE is to make money and earn good lifestyle, you need to be perfect in whatever you wanted to enter here. Average and mid level of knowledge will not convert here. That's very critical. So major changing, the things are there. Increased use of smart and sophisticated technologies will replace change, enhance the traditional approach, which is as good as, like, in today, a lot of people come and they say about technology, and they talk about, I'm well versed with risk. But you ask them that, how many solutions have you used in relation to managing the business and enterprise risk? They're not aware about it. They haven't worked on any of the system, right? If you talk about audits, assurance, here most of the organization, they work on audit softwares, which defines the audit program for a particular industry and size of the business and what level of IFRS you wanted to do. Which means, let's say you're going for an audit, the very first question that in the planning comes in, what is the risk of material misstatements? And then basis the moment you define that, then you define maturity level, then you define about what is the population, what is the size, and every single procedure linked with it. Now, if somebody comes and wanted to make a career into the audit here, the risk-based auditing, they are not aware about, because still in India, many organizations are still working on traditional approach. You go and do the vouching and things. Here, people are very concerned about the billable hours. And the plan should be risk-based auditing. So you need to be aware about the technological enhancement that profession has overgone and changed in past years. The second one is continued globalization will increase more opportunities and challenges for members in accounting profession. So what is happening here? In UAE, if you see that in UAE, there are 200 plus nationalities lives here, which means once you come here, you will be competing with ACCAs, CPAs, AICW members, MBAs, which is there, a lot of other accounting bodies, professionals in different countries. And you'll be competing not only just in knowledge, but in your presentation, in your thought process, into your ideology, that how do you work. So you need to be well prepared. You need to understand that. The third one is increased regulation and associated disclosure rules will have a greater impact on the profession for years to come. Now, as you know that globally, there's a debate about, conflict of interest, which is happening. So a lot of global firms are also thinking about how they can mitigate this particular risk by segregating. So when you come on board here, when you try to do that, try to think about what all way you can help organization and yourself. How can you help yourself to stay relevant within the profession and saying that, look, I have taken all the due measures in my professional capacity as a member of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India in delivering and adhering to my responsibilities and help organization to disclose well to the whistleblowing. So that's where the critical aspect that you need to change and understand the changes that is envisaged out here. Okay. I think I stressed enough on that. Communication skills. If you can't speak fluent English, you'll find very difficult to get a job or anything here. You need to be fluent speaker, English speaker. It's as good as native. If it is not, then it's a challenge. No matter wherever you come from, accent is fine, but you need to be able to comprehend in English, because English is the most used language here besides Arabic. Other regional languages, which is Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Hindi, is here. A lot of people, you find them. But professionally, people wanted to communicate in English, though they know the languages out there, right? So communication skill is very clear. And I say that when you come out in the UAE, you need to understand that what is the modesty that people work here and live here. So interpersonal skill should be very concise. It means you should have the habit. I mean, I'm just basic things what I'm trying to tell you, but then for many people, it doesn't make a difference, but here it makes a difference. So when you come for a meeting, you should be nicely dressed. You can't just simply go in odd color and combination shirt. People, the very first impression is that, look, if a person does not know and have a sense of dressing itself, how are we going to have a sense of my presentations? So it's an important aspect that you should be very well dressed and you should take care of that. It's the first impression. So first impression is the last impression, friends. And I always say that, dressing is it reflects your behavior, it reflects your personality. So please be careful about when you go and talk to people. Communication, English, use proper words. Don't use, like for example, many people have this habit of saying, that this, because there's so many filling words that you probably use. If you can avoid that, it will be very helpful for you, because that reflects that how good professional you are. And I say that why I'm saying so. A good professional uses words very wisely. It's like he's giving advice or he's giving anything out there. So whatever the strength that you have, you should use it effectively, right? So avoid fillers, communicate well with people, think through it. And in the UAE, people are accepting saying no. For example, when you're going for an interview, where you're going for a client discussion, and the client asks about many things. Look, can you do this? Can you? No need to say yes to every single thing. You can say no, I don't know, and they appreciate that. If let's say going for an interview in transfer pricing, and you say somebody say benchmarking, oh, I didn't do the benchmarking. I'm not an expert on that, but I can learn it. I can learn it. Be honest about it. Okay. And understand. So second point is that more business acumen to support decision making, which means like you need to understand the landscape of here. It's a very fast moving country, very fast moving. It means that decision making is very short. It doesn't take too long for making a decision. So decision making is short. It means you'll have limited time to provide information for people to make decision, and it can't be wrong, because here it's not like 10 days, 20 days or 30 days after decision making happens, decision making is quick. So you need to be thinking about that. Higher order of thinking skills, which means critical thinking, analytical and problem solving skills, strategic thinking is essential. That will help you out to grow. And come with a broad mind. Don't simply come with the mindset that I need to make money and I need to go. Because when people come here, they become the resident of the country. And friends, one common mistake that as a professional one does make is to understand that I'll save money, I'll earn more and I'll save more. When you earn money, you need to have equal amount of expenses as well, so that your zeal to earn more continue to be there. Number one. Number two, don't worry about the compensation that you're going to get. That's my recommendation. Choice is yours. I'm just recommending. I'm not saying that you should follow my advice, friends. So this is a disclaimer. But people who come with the right career and they get the right name, they earn money in due course more than what they earn in a year one and two. So choice is one, that you may start at 10,000, 15,000 salary, having a right profile, and then take that opportunity, unleash your potential, grow better, and then earn in a year three or year 400,000 and 500,000. Then being rigid that, look, I need money and I'm going to work in an organization on this amount of money where opportunities are not there, but money is there. Then you restrict yourself to a 20,000 or 25,000 or 30,000. So it's a very critical thinking that you need to analyze at what you really wanted with your career. Okay. Obviously, technology understanding is required, leadership skills is required, maturity is critical. If you don't know, ask people. Ask people about it. I remember when 2006, when I first time make a move for moving out there to UAE, I had a very strong offer in my hand. Very lucrative, 4 times my salary that point in time. Very lucrative offer. So the owner of that company told me that, Anurag, I heard that you're leaving, but I give you a counter offer, which is more than your UAE offer. Come tomorrow wearing my tie. And I was like in real dilemma. I was real fixed. What should I do? One side you're getting that much of money. I bought my car 2 months ago, hardly 2 months ago. I bought my car when I got this offer. I had a good apartment. Every single thing was good. And a salary 4 times, which is more than even the UAE salary. What you should do? So I reached out to one of the director who was there in company and said, okay, look, I have this opportunity in my hand. What should I do? Shall I go and shall I come tomorrow in time? And guess what? The answer that he gave it to me. He says, Anurag, look, you are talented. Your talent is what getting this offer to you. And this offer will gonna not run away from you. Should you join after 6 months, after 1 year, maybe 2 years down the line? If not this company, somebody else. So this tie can wait. But this opportunity that you got for UAE will not gonna wait. I think you should go explore, learn things out there. It works, well and good, you are there. But if not work, you don't have a regret that you didn't try. So I tried, but it becomes home from 2006 till now. So friends, opportunities are there. You need to be diligent about the offer, understanding landscape and fun about it. I'm just trying to be not too much philosophical, but then I just try to share with you what the story is. Okay, so technology trends are there. I mean, which all of you are aware about. I don't know much touch base on that side of things. Okay, so this is again a little bit about ICI Dubai. ICI Dubai chapter is in existence for the last 40 years, and I'm proud to lead the chapter in its 40th year, which is called the Ruby Anniversary of ICI Dubai chapter. And we have achieved one of the largest milestone we were awaiting, because as you know that I'm very definitive about whatever I try to do that. So we reached the number mark 3,000 plus members. We are always saying that we are closer to 3,000. I said, look, we need to break this through and shall. So fortunately, in this year, we have now 3,082 members as I speak. We have reached within the 1450 organizations standalone, 6,000 CAs in Dubai and Dubai, Sharjah, and Northern Emirates, as per the count that we have, which have been partially registered, not registered along with us. 40 plus high profile events that we do in a year. ICI Dubai chapter, all in 5-star hotels that we do event. We have very strong presence in the media. We have global connectivity, so we continue to talk about people. Our event size, if you see the picture in your left, this is one of our events, and all our events are actually attended by, in physical, 600 to 700 members. So this is a real picture of the event. It's not like something outside. Members organizations. So we have again professional firms: Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, BDO, Anderson, PKF. The MNCs are Nestle, Amar, Nakheel, Siemens, Pepsi, Coke, Dower. Large groups are there: Al Ghurair, Galadhari, Lulu Group, IFCO, Al Sharabi, Al Rustamani, Al Futain, AGMC. SMEs are there. You can see Ajmal Perfume, Nikai, Masafi, Barakat, Al Rawabi, Nimai. IT companies predominantly, all are there. Financial services. Banks are Emirates NBD, one of the largest bank. We have First Abu Dhabi Bank, Gargas Insurance, Mashreq Bank, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank. A lot of banks are there. So, it's ample space for everybody. Segment of the members, if I want to share with you, is 40% of our members represent professional firms, 20% are MNCs, 20% large group, and 20% SMEs. Base location, 70% Dubai, 30% in Dubai and Sharjah. So this is what the presentation was all about, friends. I hope that I was able to talk to you and share with you about it. And then I'm happy to take up questions, because I think presentation is presentation, but if you can ask me questions, whatever it is.
Anurag, that was an excellent presentation. You are rightly struck at the right note, saying that we should be properly equipped. I appreciate that. And we need to train our young members also. Maybe the old guys like me, it's different, but for youngsters, I think you have put the right note. I really appreciate that. And we would like to see that our head office takes up this initiative, see that all our new members or all the practicing members are properly equipped and they do the job right. And the speciality, that's a very, very, very key word. I appreciate it, sir. Very nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Request Kumar sir to call any questions, if any, to Anurag sir.
Sure. Good evening once again. This is Kumar here, the secretary. Amazing presentation. Thanks a lot. We do have some questions from members. One of the questions is, how can we become members of UAE chapter? Is one question. I'll probably take one by one.
Yeah, we can take one by one. So the process is very simple. See, as per the constitution of ICI Dubai chapter, if somebody wanted to become a member, he need to be first, two conditions are there. The first condition is that he should be member of ICAI India. So he should be obviously a member of ICAI. The second thing, you should be resident in the UAE. So if you're resident in the UAE, you can join the chapter by paying a membership fee of AED 735 dirhams, which is close to 15,500 approximately today's rate, which is yearly, and all our events are generally free, unless it's a workshop and a specific course that we run separately. But then this is what the fee that we charge for the entire year.
Okay. The next question is from Kanta Sharma. Do we need to tie up with a local guy to open office in UAE?
No, it is not required. Nowadays, what happens, UAE has issued the cabinet resolution to allow 100% foreign ownership, except in the few sectors. So you can now free to open the 100% owned entity within the UAE mainland. And one thing that I wanted to share with all the members as well, in the UAE, there are two zones out there. So number one, half part of UAE is mainland, it's called mainland, and half of the UAE part called free zone. And in the free zone, there are 53 free zones out there. Each free zones, the constitution is similar, but then they are catering to a specific industry. So such as, let's say, if you might have heard about DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center, it caters to specifically financial organization, holding structures and things like that. Similar to that in Abu Dhabi is Abu Dhabi Global Market, again, financial driven. At the same time, you have industrial zone, let's say, for example, Jabal Ali Free Zone, Dubai Airport Free Zone, Fujairah Free Zone, Ras Al Khaimah Free Zone, and an X number of free zones are there. So free zone were there, and it continued to increase. The number of free zones continued to increase, so it becomes 53. And each free zone offers a tax incentive to the people. But critical thing that you need to understand about free zone, the idea and the purpose of a free zone to allow businesses incorporated in the free zone to do the business outside the UAE. You can do business within the free zone or from free zone to outside free zone. You can't do business in the UAE. Now, UAE mainland, which means you can do business anywhere within the UAE, you can do business with, outside as well. And now you are allowed to open 100% foreign ownership organization. And the type of entities are there. You can have LLC, which is limited liability company. It's not partnership. You can have a civil partnership as well, which can also take a status of limited liability to an extent. You can have sole establishment as well.
There is another question. It is saying, do we need local Emirati to start an audit firm in UAE? Almost similar to the previous question.
Yeah, so
So-
audit practice is restricted. Audit practice, you need to have audit license. If you have audit license, you can definitely, you don't require any local owners to come into picture. All you require is your audit certificate, which you get from Ministry of Education. Now, that's where big challenge is there. I know that many of you asked the question about it. But at the moment, the chartered accountancy degree is not recognized as a university degree in the UAE. And even in India, we don't get that certificate so far at the moment, that which university is giving us. And here, the first condition for you to get audit license is that you need to be 5 years working in the audit profession, which means you should have, your visa should say that in last 5 years as an auditor that you work. So you should have 5-year UAE experience as an auditor. Number 2, you should have a Bachelor of Accounting degree, or you should have equivalency certificate from the country, which is recognized by UAE as well, that this is what things are there. If you have this, then within certain point in time, they'll give you, what do you call that, audit certificate. And if you got audit certificate, you don't require any local. If you don't have, then the firm will be 100% owned by Emirati, who is holder of auditor certificate.
Great. The next question, can we get taxation work outsourced to Indian firms, or we need to be there in person and stay there?
See that I don't rule out that possibility of outsourcing the work in India, but people don't have that reliance today. In the UAE, when the work happens, people try to prefer that they should see somebody out there in their office while they're conducting the work. So outsourcing work didn't uplift too much here. But possibilities are there. They can talk to people out there and evaluate the work.
Okay, there is a question from Aman, what is the scope of work without getting permanently shifted to UAE for a small firm?
Okay, there can be a lot of possibilities. You can come here, you can talk to people like any other country. UAE is no different. This question is actually not specific to UAE, but I wanted to answer. It's as good as you're trying to search the work out of ocean, friends. So you can continue to hunt the work through LinkedIn, through various other platforms. You can have the database or ID to people and say that, look, I'm work in India. I have this much expertise, and should you wish to have the services from our side, I'm happy to provide that service. I think that's the way forward. Probably you can come to UAE on visit. You can attend some of the key events here, which is like, for example, Gulf Food Festival is there, GITEX is there, ICI conferences are there. You can come and meet a lot of professional colleagues out here, talk to them, explain them what you do in India and how you can be much more efficient and distinct from the people within the UAE itself. And if they like it, here you go. You can do that.
We have an interesting question. I'm running my own practice in India. Can I start only a consulting firm?
Yeah, you can. See, you can start consulting firm, management consulting firm, bookkeeping and accounting services, tax consultant. For this, you don't need local. Only locals are required because you and I do not have auditor's certificate. The reason is I'm Bachelor of Science. I don't have Bachelor of Accounting. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm Bachelor of Science. So from where I'm going to get this Bachelor of Accounting? I'm not going to get it. Second thing is our degree at the moment is not accredited. Although now universities accept us as master's chartered accountant. But this formalized stuff and formalized letter of that Master of Accounting is not there with us. Till the time that is not there, you and I on the same boat. But I think, friends, I tell you, why are you concerned about audit? How many of you think about audit as a profession? I'll tell you reason for it. You are coming from outside to a country. Forget about UAE for a while. You are based out of Salem. And you go to Mumbai. What audit opportunities you envisage? The people sitting out there in Mumbai are already there. What you can change out there? What kind of business you can get? All these big consulting firms I told you, they are already there. There are a lot of small players are there which is also they're competing. So the audit file, the normal fee, which is like base, very small company, small firm, may pay 2,000 to 3,000 dirhams. 4,000 dirhams. The competition is there, 4,000, 5,000, because everybody charging their own fee. How will you be differentiating yourself with the people who are already there? Okay. So this is a big challenge. Why you restrict yourself to audit? Go into advisory. Everybody wanted to get into advisory, leaving the audit out there. Because big groups, they are already settled with the top tier firm, 20, 30, 40 firms are there. You don't have a space there. In small firms, you are going to a market where exactly a lot of people are there. And how will you compete? You don't know that market. You don't know the risk. You as an Indian, from an India perspective, you have very limited visibility on IFRS. And IFRS is the only thing that you work here. Building the expertise, building the knowledge. So many times people ask the question, I said, look, you didn't understand, first of all, the market. You need to understand the audit market and try to see that, does it make sense for you? How much money you think that you'll be generating out of audit? What's your target? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. To generate that sort of income, $2 million net to net, you may probably have to take maybe 6,000 or 7,000 audit assignments. To do those assignments, how many people you need to employ? Are you ready to take that risk? So I think as a business, we all chartered accountant, when we are practicing, we need to be having business sense first. Many times we don't have. We don't simply think rationally. We just simply say, okay, he's doing audit, let me do the audit as well. Let me do. But do your own maths, friends. Do your own maths and try to understand what you're trying to achieve.
Wonderful. Next, are the tax rules same across UAE?
Yes, it's the same.
The same. Okay, great.
Because in corporate tax, there'll be slightly difference out there. And in case of VAT also, there is slight difference out there with respect to free zone taxation in VAT. The rules are slightly different, but yeah, tax covers all you.
This is a question already touched upon. According to you, what are the opportunities for an Indian CA in the area of outsourced accounting, and from where we can get the leads about the same?
That's a very interesting question, leads.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I really want to say something very important. Look, if somebody asks somebody for a lead, it means you don't understand your business. Please don't count me wrong. But leads are not something which is available in market. Leads is what you create for yourself. If the leads are there, then anybody can go and grab it. You see my point? What I'm trying to say that if leads are there, who will leave that lead for you? The leads, people will take it. And lead is not something which is available somewhere where you can take it and grab it. It's you who create that lead for you. And this is what throughout my presentation, I wanted to pass on one single message to you. Please understand what you really wanted to do, my friends. If you ask about opportunities, I explained you sectors. You ask about the areas, I explained you sectors. You ask about how the UAE landscape is changing, I explained you about it. I tell you that very specific thing, you need to be thinking about what you can deliver. If somebody is smart enough, he'll understand the message I wanted to pass on. I mean, please don't count me wrong that, I'm advocating and I'm thinking, but I genuinely wanted to help you out. I genuinely wanted to pass on the message to you that when you look at UAE or Canada or any other country as a jurisdiction, please do understand about that country. It's very different than India. It's very, very different than India. And it will be very helpful if you come prepared.
Great.
Anything?
We have plenty of questions. That's very interesting. Okay. And how a fresher CA can get transfer pricing profile in UAE? It's very specific. Okay.
Okay. So if you wanted to make career in transfer pricing, I'll recommend that you have to go into OECD. Start reading about the OECD latest guideline on the transfer pricing. It's available, readily available. You can go and download on the rules and specific on transfer pricing because UAE follow OECD model. Read about that, do the right search and read about transfer pricing model because you and I on the transfer pricing at the same level. The knowledge that you'll have and I have it at the same level. So whoever study more, you're gonna get more. So you research, study, read some case laws. There's a lot of case laws in India which happens around, understand the model that how the transfer pricing works, what the key profiles are there. I've done quite a few workshops. So I think in ICI channel, you will find on transfer pricing basics about it. Go through it, understand from there. And I think that's where you should begin your journey. And then jobs is going to be there a lot much transfer pricing.
Great. How's the introduction of corporate tax in UAE to help Indian CAs located in India?
Sorry, what the question is?
How's the introduction of corporate tax in UAE to help Indian CAs located in India and UAE?
Yeah. So there's a lot much help that chartered accountants in India can do that. Because corporate tax is a very litigative subject. And its severity people realize once a few years pass on. And as an Indian chartered accountant, you have seen the severity of the litigation into corporate tax. I think that experience will help us, businesses out here. Come and try to talk to people, try to tell them that what level of expertise that you have. When people introduce a corporate tax, what all the precautions and measures they should take into place, which is the key business nowadays, impact assessment. You can help them to do impact assessment on their business. Should they have only the business in UAE or they have global business, you can help them to understand the impact of business. Provide them guidance on the transfer pricing. Tell them, look, we have databases which you can provide the search upon. Should you have only, but be realistic because the delivery is very critical. And yeah, I think these are quite a few areas where you can do that. And obviously, a lot of outsourcing work may probably come. Should there's an enormous complication the regulation brings out there, where people here don't have expertise, so they will bank upon India to get the people. One second.
Great. Ganapati Parthiban is asking, for starting a consulting firm, do we need a sponsor from Emirates?
I think I answered the question already.
It's fine. Advice on how to search job as a fresher in UAE by an Indian CA. Do we sell many things, e-financial careers, Robert off? I can myself say, you can add something more.
Yeah, LinkedIn is there, Robert Hub is there, Michael Page is there, Naukri Girl, Monster Girl, all these sites are there. Continue to update your CVs. Recruiters are looking for those who continue to update their CVs and say that they're looking out. Be specific to your profile. Don't, oh yeah, that's a good point. I've done, in fact, a career workshop on this. So let me share an instance with you, and which can help you out to really avoid some of the enthralling mistake that people do that. So I posted 2 jobs, in April, I think it was April or May time. One was for director tax and one was for manager tax. And guess what? I had 13 CAs applied for both the roles. A senior person also applied for director as well as manager. A junior person also applied for manager and director. When I look into this profile, I was laughing at them. Honestly speaking, you don't have sense what you're trying to do. Just like go and apply out there. I said block. People are blocked in my list. I'm never going to talk. They may be very nice in terms of writing, maybe very skilled and very talented, but I said close the door on them. The reason is they are not sure about where they want it to be. I will not have a director who can think of being a manager, and I don't have a manager who think about director. I'm here and I'm there because you're not sure about it. Another aspect, your CVs. 75% of CVs have a grammatical mistakes because you don't take effort to make the CVs. All what you do that you get a friend CV, copy paste, go to Google, transfer pricing workshop, copy paste. Today, people know it. People know it that you're copy pasting, you haven't done that work. And the very first thing is that if you yourself not take effort to make the CV and read your CV, how you expect a recruiter to read your CV? He will not read your CV if you yourself not read it and not make it. So please ensure whatever you're writing in your CV is accurate and correct, so that when you have an interview, you can talk the reality. And secondly, I said this before, I want to reinstate that. If you're going for a profile, read about the UAE regulations and law. If you're applying for a VAT, at least have a courtesy to read the UAE VAT law, its regulation, and some of its guidance. If you talk about corporate tax, please read the corporate tax law before going for an interview. At least this much you can do to yourself and to a profession.
Great. Saurav Narang is asking, does CA plus CPA USA have an edge, or an Indian CA is enough for good paying job?
Friends, the numbers, I say that 2 letters CNA before anyone's name not only represent a professional qualification, but expresses one's pride that is earned after years of hard work and commitment. So I think these 2 letters are very critical and important. But these 2 letters are not sufficient. You as a person required to be reflecting your agility, your commitment, your personality. You could be CPAs, MBAs from Harvard or XYZ, whatever it is. But if you are not making sense to somebody who's looking out someone, it's a waste. Good for you though. But if you're not able to express your knowledge, which is inside you while you're going out there, you don't have that talent to satisfy somebody's need. Because remember, whether you're in the job or into profession, all what you're trying to do that you are trying to sell your skills at your workplace or at being in profession as a consultant. You're selling your knowledge. So CPAs, CAs, MBAs, it does not add to the salary. All what adds to salary is your experience and how do you present yourself.
Great. How to get employment in Dubai-based private or government banking or finance sector? How to approach them? Throw some advice.
I think most of the bankers and most of people, they recruit through professional consulting firms, in recruitment consulting firms. So, they continue to reach out, hunt, headhunt for them. And often they broadcast their jobs, which is mid-level, lower mid-level, on various job portals, which includes Monster, Naukri, and Michael Page, Clarendon Parker, Bayut. Yeah, I mean, these are some of the job sites that I'm aware about, which is in trend. So you can think about it. But then opportunities are also on their websites, specific websites.
We have number of questions on one particular topic. Please advise on how to explore opportunities for salaried employment in Dubai. To CS.
Yeah, salaried employment is good. The salaries are good. It's rising. Inflation is balanced here. It's not too much. The country is pegged against dollar, so all what you're earning is in dollar. So you continue to benefit from depreciation in our currency, and the global increase into the dollar prices all around the world. So opportunities are there. Salary, generally people have salaries out there, but industry I explained to you. So you can choose out being a finance manager to financial controller to F&P analyst to analyst, and the tax professional, tax consultants, managers, and whatnot. So jobs are all there, all sort of jobs which you have in India. Same titles are here as well. You can find the jobs a lot much.
Super. Durgesh Sinai, kindly highlight on UAE data privacy for outsourcing or sharing data outside of UAE.
That's a good question. So UAE has recently launched its data privacy law, but its regulations are not yet out. So I can't comment on how the regulation is going to behave, but data privacy is there. There's a significant provisions and fines are there should the data privacy breached out, which means you need to take consent, but how the process is going to happen, we are awaiting the regulations in relation to data privacy. Though the DIFC and ADGM, which is the Dubai International Financial Center and Abu Dhabi Global Market, they have data privacy and regulation, which prohibit people to take the data outside the DIFC. And should you take the data, you need to take a definite consent in that relation. Hope this answers your question.
Great. I have few more questions. It's all relating to employment opportunities.
Yeah.
And
See, employment opportunities are there. Till the time you solve the question, let me just share some more lights. So employment opportunities are there, but you need to be very willing to hire you. Very willing to hire you. We hire a lot of people from India. But the only challenge that everybody faces is that their profile is not clear. And that's why people sometimes lose on the remuneration. You have to make your profile very clear. You need to write every single word. And I wanted to, I don't know how many times I wanted to emphasize on this, real emphasize. I wanted to give that, write your CV word by word books. Write your CV. Reflect your specialization into it and be a specialist. If you do that, you're going to get good amount of remuneration. You get a lot of good calls. But if you make a generic CV, nobody is going to. Many people try to approach on LinkedIn. I'm so and so. But all what they try to do, they try to copy paste message to 20, 30 people. And many times what the mistake they make, they not even change the name of the person who they address with. So let's say you're writing to Mr. Shyam. Mr. Shyam, I'm so and so, and I'm looking for a opportunity related experience. Now this message you're sending to Anurag. And what he did, he copy paste Anurag, and he's like, Mr. Shyam. I said, what? It's like, so very simple opportunity, and I'm a person who revert back. I like to revert back. But if the message comes to me generic, I will just back out to revert back. I see the messages, but I'll not revert back to that message because it's spam for me. And CVs, be specific, apply to those jobs which you really believe that you can do it. Not just like in search of job, you can apply like accountant, or you can apply to analyst. I can become tomorrow tax expert. And fourth day I become forensic expert, and fifth day I become in a hotel, maybe operation manager. You can't become. You can't become, for sure. And if you try to do that, you yourself lose your identity because you're not focused. So I think I humbly request each one of you to that. Please read the law if you wanted to get into the profession. Read the law, read the Companies Act, read the methodology with respect to audit tools, how the audit being performed, risk-based auditing. If you go get into the audit, read the COSO, COBIT, NIST frameworks. It will help you out. Yeah, other things are, as a professional. This is what I wanted to emphasize.
Great. There is a question from Abhishek Jain. From where we can read UAE laws and any forums where we can find more information? This is one. And another question, what is the scope of information systems audit and valuations?
Okay, so with respect to finance laws, you can go to Ministry of Finance and you can read a lot of laws out there. You can go to Federal Tax Authority, which is e-services, or sorry, tax.gov.ae. Tax, which is Tango Alpha Xavier dot Go Orange Victor dot Alpha Echo. Tax.gov.ae. You can go on website, you can find all the laws, which is like VAT, excise, ESR, corporate tax laws out there. You can find it. If you want to read about anti-money laundering and related acts, you can go to the website of Central Bank. You can read the law about there. You want to read about any other specific laws, you can go to relevant, which is like Ministry of Commerce. You can read about the Companies Act and whatnot. So you need to research. Search will provide you every single information that you want. So your search should be refined in Google. Very nice. And a chartered accountant, you also need to understand how to search the information. Many times, many permutation, combination, you need to search and do things out there. Yeah. And with respect to information system audit, there's ample scope. Ample scope is there because technology is the cornerstone of every single business. It's a pillar without which business can't operate. So there's ample scope for the IT audits are there.
Great. What is commonly used software for bookkeeping in UAE? We have Tally in India. Anything in particular?
Tally is there. Tally is there. Zoho is there. QuickBooks is there. Xero is there. Many more. Many more are there. ERPs are obviously there, which is Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, JD Edward. What his name is? Sage is there. Focus. Many.
There is something very interesting now. Please share a checklist to open an office in UAE.
All right. I think that's very interesting. So you want to open your own office, or you want to help other people to open their offices out there?
This is from Kanta Sharma. This is from Kanta Sharma. Very interesting, actually. So,
So I'll help you out to open an office. All what you need is you need to choose the area where you wanted to open the business. Number one. Number two, you need to identify 3 names, which is essential for setting up the business, which is like XYZ and company, XYZ and associate, whatever it is. 3 names out there. You need owner's passport, their electricity bill, their home address, and the funds to open the company. That's it. But if it is a subsidiary of India, then you need more documentation. That's what the checklist is. Very simple.
Great. And maybe Anurag, just it's not a question from the audience. It's just probably a question from my side. Okay. Probably if you share some thoughts, it will be helpful for everyone. Many people have a feel that looking at the current INR to AED rates, it will be very expensive to set up an office and all that. What is the kind of capital a person should have in terms of AED or INR to probably have a branch office in Dubai, which can be a branch office or an independent practice consulting firm?
Okay, that's a very good question, and I really love to answer. So you can have a license to do a business in the UAE as low as 5,000 dirhams, which is like 1 lakh rupees.
Right.
1 lakh rupees, you can get a freelancer license, nearly 1 lakh rupees. If you want to set up a company, you can go to any of the free zone. But again, outside business, within the UAE itself, to set up a business, the minimum that you need to spend nearly 15 to 16,000 dirhams, which is like 3 lakh rupees. At the moment, the capital which you define to open a company, which is, let's say, for example, 50,000, 10,000, 15,000 dirhams, whatever it is, you want to keep the capital, that is not mandatory to be kept in the bank until now. It's there in the license, but it is not there. So you're liable to settle your liability up to the extent of that, but then it's up to you to maintain that balance into the books on a regular basis. So 3 lakhs, 3.5 lakhs, you can open the company, but you need to factor out that you will be living here. The average living for a person, in a normal decent area for a studio apartment could cost you nearly 30,000 dirhams a year. An average food for a normal person, maybe 50 dirhams a day. You can eat the food depending on your taste. And I'm just saying average about it. So 50 into 33, 1,540 divided by 12 is essentially 3,000, 3,500. 3,500 plus 1,500 is what your expense plus 500 dirham, 1,000 dirham, depending on your luxury need. Whether you can drive into metro or bus, or you want a cab, it can range from 1,000 to X amount of money. So essentially 6,000 is the basic cost of living for people. To set up a company, you need 15,000 dirhams, essentially means 3 lakh, 3.5 lakhs rupees a month. This is what it is. So 120,000 is approximately a monthly living, a decent monthly living.
So in total, I would say probably 100,000 or for the entire year, right?
Yeah.
Great. So in Indian terms, it's 20 lakhs without factoring any income. So this is only on the debit side. Yeah, fine. So there is one question. Do professionals need to adhere to any ethics there? Of course, there is a question I'm reading out. Definitely, I feel yes. Anurag, you can throw more light.
No, the thing is, like, in the UAE, there are very specific, standards of ethics is there. I can tell you the ethics means if you try to show or abuse somebody, you can be deported. You fight with people, you could be behind the bar. You unintentionally found something, not reported to the police that you found something, and you just kept it with you and identified. Non-reporting, unintentional taking away the things can put you behind the bar and formally deportation. So ethics means that you need to be law-abiding citizen. You should be doing what is ethically right. An ethical definition is that which is a common parlance between the two people, what is ethically right. You should be doing that. If you not do that, you are significantly troubling.
Great. I think there was a question on Arabic and advice on significance of Arabic language in communication, both reading and writing.
Not required. It's plus, but it's not mandatory here.
Is ICA Dubai chapter have any counseling space for a CA coming to Dubai for setting up a firm so that our queries related to setting up a firm is addressed with proper guidance? Wow, it's a nice initiative you can start. Anurag?
I want to answer this question. So friends,
Yes, please.
people who are at the helms of ICI affairs, they don't get any remuneration from ICI. So be it like, you see the leaders here in Salem branch, they don't get any remuneration. They do public service. But we, at the same time, we all need to do our own job to earn our bread as well. And counseling, yes, counseling is there, but if there are 100 people who require counseling, it becomes impossible. And I think for any sort of things, you should not be dependent on the chapter that you advise. Any sort of advice where your decisions are based, you should seek a professional advice. And I think that's what, as a professional, you should understand, that free information is not right information every time. Somebody coach, somebody guide, you want to save the money, you may end up spending a lot of amount of money. You should definitely coach and consult an expert by paying a professional fee to him. If you try to get information, you'll get half information, because somebody will not take accountability into consideration. Like, remember, and it's very important topic I want to touch base. Last topic, we organized the corporate tax when they came here. You'll not believe, millions of SMS, WhatsApp circulated, law here, law there. The people who are circulating, our professional colleagues, didn't take a minute to read that. Is it a legal document? Is it downloaded from official website and things? Just circulate. Whether right, whether wrong, somebody else's name is there, right? Left. Who will take accountability to read that document before circulating? And what's the joy in circulating? It's a race. I don't want to be in race to circulate a document which is publicly available every single place here. You may take advice from Anurag. Maybe he will give right advice as well. But what if you meet somebody who's into industry and vice chairman of ICI Dubai, or treasurer of ICI Dubai, or secretary of ICI Dubai, or executive members, and they give advice in the best interest of their knowledge to you, and you acted on that advice, but turns out to be not right in your case. You'll blame ICI Dubai chapter. The people who have given advice to me was not right. We don't want to take that risk, and there's nobody. If you wanted to do any business, yes, professionally we'll tell you here, but I'm not giving any advice to you here. And nobody will give advice in that sense. All what we can do is help you out to understand. But again, you have to take professional advice from people.
That's an amazing answer. Yeah. There is a question from Harsh Bansal. After signing of FTA between India and UAE, the trade volume is rising. If we have to advise MSMEs in India on exporting to UAE, how should we proceed? Which sectors can see a boom in future regarding exports? Okay. It's a nice question.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between the UAE and India, where both the countries has given the other country, the status of favored nation. The favored nation means that, you'll be having a duty exemptions, you'll be having reduction in the duties out there, you'll be having a reduction in charges, cross exchange of the goods. So UAE has initiated that CEPA, and there is a lot of sectors into the picture. The key sector I will say is gold and diamond is a critical sector, which is we have seen actual implementation of it. Another sector could be leather. The third sector could be, the chip-based businesses like mobile chips, because India is now, having a good tech-driven suppliers and products. It really can be very, very big boom out there. And apparel export, because here the fashion hub of, GCC and world UAE. A lot of people come here for shopping, so obviously the garment export and textile can be big region. And with respect to how to approach, I think you need to create awareness about the circle in India, as we do many times, many seminars that we do. We try to talk to people, look, where exactly specific opportunities are there. We go to the client, well prepared. We not only offer them tax, we not offer them transaction advisory. We tell them, look, I thought this particular provision falls in line with your strategic objective that you set out. I see on your website that you're expanding and your growth ambitious organization. When I gonna come and meet you up, I'll first read your website, try to understand who you are, what you're trying to do, what's your outlook. If I can get an information that's as a professional at search. And then I will articulate my offerings and I'll try to see that is there SEPA fits into this particular picture. If yes, then my first discussion with you will be on SEPA. I said, look, as you're expanding and trying to think investment into India, I think it's very significant and it's very timely because SEPA is implemented. And should you do so, you may have taken a number of numerous advantages. And say, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, that's good. I'm talking about duty exemptions. I'm talking about favored nations. I'm talking about one window clearance. I'm talking about multiple blah, blah, blah things out there. He said, can you just help me out to understand those logics? I said, look, that is a professional advice. Do you want me to work on that? He says, yes, go on work. And then here's the professional advice that I give it to him.
Super. There is a question. Roles for CAs in IFRS, whether we need to do diploma in IFRS or ACCA required.
As I said to you, qualification does not matter for this. Knowledge is what matters. You should have knowledge of IFRS. You should read. I think CA is more than sufficient qualification anywhere in the world. It's a powerful 2 letters.
Right. Can you give some more insight on risk advisory and transaction advisory scope in UAE?
There's ample scope. I think I talked about it. There's ample opportunities here. It's expanding significantly.
Cool. Is there any scope of doing KPO or BPO work in UAE?
Yeah, I think, see, opportunities are there. You need to search for the right organization which can consume your services and talk to them. And additionally, when you talk to people, you should explain them why they should do that. What the advantages. Oh my God,
See, there is.
questions. I need
Yeah,
to, I
yeah.
think, question.
It's fine.
Yeah, we can take
Insolvency
another-
professional services in UAE, whether the law is passed, maybe probably I'll take a few more questions and then we can conclude. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's okay.
Insolvency professional services in UAE and whether the law is passed.
Yeah, insolvency law is there, but I think there's a very limited scope that an Indian chartered accountant can do into that, because this is a very litigative matter and legal stuff where you need help of lawyers. So people go to lawyers in relation to insolvency cases and lawyers appoint experts. So I don't see a significant, progress in this particular field for professionals, chartered accountants.
What about the opportunities in banking sector?
Banking, as I initiated the first discussion, because there's a number of bank consolidating. So when the consolidation happened, the pool of resources already available, which get merged into it. So there are opportunities, but not as many as in other sectors. So banking has limited exposure at this point.
With probably this question we can conclude. In your personal view, do you suggest setting up a consulting firm to participate in the implementation of corporate tax in UAE corporations? I feel this will be one-time activity, and once the corporations understand the mechanism, they may not need much of us like in the initial stage. So,
Very wrong question. Whoever asked this question, very wrong question. Because
it will be
you
a
don't understand our profession, friends. Once the implementation is done, how can you say that that's over? That's just the beginning. After that, a lot of work, like you implement, do you think that people will understand it? like ERPs. Take example ERPs. I mean, take example of GST for that matter. You are in India. Is still how many businesses understand the GST? It's so many years. 1961 income tax implemented. We should have been out of the business. I think we all should have been out of business. If this question has 1961 income tax implemented, and today nearly 350,000 and 400,000 chartered accountants around the world practicing Indian income tax and GST. So if this question would have been that, they all would have been out of business since 1961, friends. I think for any law to come in, it's just the beginning from where you will scale it. And that is what I said. Look, many times we don't listen here. I said, in one professional's lifetime, this journey comes only once. We are fortunate, we've seen so many laws. And I can tell you, when I started my practice, when I started in 2016, I said, I'll touch base on this as well. So when I started, people say, oh, this VAT impact assessment is done. What are you going to do now? And you're going to do only tax, not audit, not anything? I said, yeah, that's what I thought about it. I'm going to just do that. They said, how will you survive? My portfolio is 60% audit. Somebody says, my 40% audit, my 70% audit. How will you run tax? Just VAT is on what? But then our business has grown 16 times after the implementation. I started when everybody thought, look, this is the end of era. But today we are 16 times ahead of them because there is ample complication. People say, a misconception people think. UAE law is very simple. 52 pages. But friends, you as a chartered accountant, tell me, if a law is that concise, can it be simple? Indian law, today, Dr. Singhania's book is there. Right? Talk about that book. It may be 750 pages or 600 pages. That book is that much detail, cannot give you surety about the regulation, how it's going to behave on a specific transaction, how a 52-page can be simplified. It's a complicated, extraordinarily complicated. So there is ample opportunities for people to come. Think wisely, think rationally, think about how you're going to think about. This is what, like all my session, I try to tell you is that thinking is critical. Specialization is critical, which we don't do that. So that's what my recommendation to you. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope I was able to add value to your aspirations in terms of having a career in the UAE or incorporating an entity within the UAE or being an entrepreneur journey or industry. If anywhere during my discussion with you, if I hurt your sentiment, I sincerely apologize for that. But then I wanted to talk to you direct as your colleague and your fraternity member, a very direct from my heart to your heart, so that it can help you out to prosper in your aspiration journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anurag. I know about you from Anand Dwivedi, who's your roommate. Yeah, so he has a great regard for you, and thank you so much for your time. And I know from practice you took time to address all of this, and it's a record participants. Okay, it is more than 580 members across Pan India. At one point in time, we got stuck at 500, and many people could not join, and we increased the limit to 1,000. We previously subscribed for 1,000, but due to some Zoom snag, it got stuck at 500. So many calls to the chairman, and we got literally flooded with emails from so many participants across the country. I would like to probably request our chairman to share a couple of words before I propose the word of thanks. Shankar.
Yes, I'm here. I am here. It was amazing program, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for accepting our invitation. Thank you so much. On behalf of across the members, few registrations were from Canada, few registrations from Australia. So it's very a pleasure is ours, sir. Thank you, sir. And like the response was overwhelming. And WTO board members, they called us like they want to host a meeting like this. Hopefully, you are the speaker for that also. That depends upon your availability. So it's a great thing. On behalf of the Salem branch of SARC and Chartered Accountants across India, so we are tendering our thanks to you, sir. Thank you very much. I hand over I propose a vote of thanks to Mr. Kumar Sitaraman on this. So kindly take the thing, sir, please.
Before Kumar says, gives his vote of thanks.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm absolutely sorry, sir. Suresh, sir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. I should thank Kumar and Shankar for giving me this opportunity. And the best presented, papers or whatever you call it, it's the best presentation. There are no words to express my sincere thanks to you for coming out with the practical issues and what you expect from the chartered accountant. I really appreciate it, sir. And we have to be specialists in some areas. We don't want to be jack of all and master of none. That is the very, 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 very important thing. And what we really miss is that, we are not specialists in particular areas. And really a good, what I should say is a piece of advice for the youngsters mostly, which I think they will take it to their heart. The presentation was excellent. No flaws, nothing. And especially your emphasis on the communication skill and spoken language. It is very, very important. I think our head office should think on the, I'm sorry if I have to be very pungent on this. They have to make English the compulsory language of the writing examination also and learning also. I think we made a mistake there. I think I can be vocal on that. It should be done, sir. I think we'll take this message. Thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time. Sri Suresh Ranganathan sir is a very, very senior member, and thanks a lot for your time, sparing with us the all 2 hours with us. Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to officially propose the vote of thanks for the day. I would like to thank, first of all, our chief guest, Sri C.A. Dheeraj Kumar Khandelwal, Chairman of Committee for Development of International Trade Services, WTO, the CCM, for his instant support in organizing this event. And he said, call me anytime, we are there to support you, and along with his team members. And thank you so much, sir. And we would like to thank our speaker for the day, CA Anurag Chaturvedi, the chairman of Dubai chapter of ICAI. Thank you so much of insights into the session, very practical, and you actually nailed so many things on the face. So it was really wonderful, like how to start a consulting firm, whether it has to be consulting or audit, or the opportunities in various sectors, banking, or, so many aspects you have discussed upon. Thank you so much for all the insights. And you said very decide on your scope. You can't be master in all. So those are all some very important insights for all the, aspiring members. Thank you so much. And we would like to thank the office bearers of your team, Dubai chapter. And I would like to thank the office bearers of Salem branch and Kumbakonam branch in organizing this wonderful event. I'm sure there will be definite takeaways for everyone. We would like to thank also the committee members and the direct digital learning hub team in making this event seamless. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, Kumar, sir. We have one more program on investor awareness program tomorrow. Please inform to everyone, sir. If they wish, they could join it. 4 to 7 tomorrow.
Okay, right. Sure. For the benefit of members, I would like to just share a piece of thought. Like 31st of December, the CP 3 years circle is getting over. So everybody, so many of them are looking for CP credit hours, and it's a time for learning. So we have organized a session relating to investors awareness tomorrow. It is available in direct digital learning hub. So you can be part of it. It is scheduled from 4 p.m. like today. Tomorrow as well, it is having 3 years of CP credit as well. So looking forward to receive all of you there again. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Jai Hind. Thank you, Anurag sir.
Thank you. Just one question that I wanted to ask, like, will this session be available online? Because some members have messaged me directly that wanted to have the session online. So if it is available, then, you can inform the
We
people out
have
there.
recorded this session, yeah. So we will try to get that posted in YouTube.
Perfect. I think that will be helpful. And for those members who really wanted to help, they can connect with me over the LinkedIn. They can continue to see all together things are there,
Yes.
whatever things are there. I continue to share a lot of information, so you can follow on LinkedIn and see what is happening around.
There are some requests to share the presentation. If possible, you can share so that they'll be able to.
I will share.
Maybe you can share in Zoom itself.
The Zoom, I don't think you can share that, but
You
I'll share
can.
I can share.
Yeah.
But I can save the chat, but I can't add a document to it, I believe. Not sure if I can add
What happened?
Google Drive your computer. Maybe. Let me just see. Let me try. If I can share this the link. I will share this.
Hmm. What has happened?
I was trying to save this and do it because I didn't save it properly.
Sir, I will do the reclaiming host. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'll share with you, then you can circulate with everyone. I think
Yeah,
that'll
that's
be better.
absolutely fine.
Okay. Great. Fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. இல்ல போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஆன்ல இருக்குமா?